Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another fantastic episode of Sex Unique podcast. Carrie's out of town, but nevertheless, we persist. And today I have a guest that I'm really excited about. She is so many things. Musician, writer, actor, fellow elite podcaster, host of her own incredible, hilarious podcast, Planet Heather. Ladies and gentlemen, and theys, Heather Jewett.
Thank you so much for having me. What an illustrious intro. And it's an honor to be here and to have you as a member of my podcast empire.
Oh, yeah. I am a loyal Patreon subscriber to all things Planet Heather. It truly makes me cackle. And I was just praising the work you do with the soundboard on your podcast is next level.
Thank you.
Thank you for making your art.
Thank you. Thank you for being one of the ever fluctuating 200 paid subscribers. And hopefully a couple more will roll on board after this.
I think you'll get some. I think you will. How are you today?
I'm doing great. I have to say, I don't get the Valley until Wednesdays. Mm-hmm. So I didn't get it until today. And it was a very surreal experience watching it in the morning hours.
First thing in the morning.
I rose with the sun and so did the Valley. And it was quite strange because usually it's the dead of night. I prefer to be shrouded in darkness.
It's incredibly jarring to watch in the mornings, but I too have gotten used to that cadence because I don't like to watch with any commercials, and I have YouTube TV, but I zone out in the commercials and then start Googling things, and then my attention span is shot. So I'm like a 8:30, 8 a.m. watching the Valley and taking furious notes.
It gave me that feeling like when you do cocaine and then not that I do cocaine anymore, but Jax would understand this, and you stay up all night and hear the birds chirping, and it just seems so unholy to be, hearing nature and then being on
to see the sunrise,
yes,
the kind of mist wear off of the June gloom, July gloom, and then the sun to come out.
Wholesome, natural backdrop for such a sinister operation.
Yeah, what is your take on where are you landing right now with various characters on the Valley?
Well, I think the oldies are still the goodies for me. I've asked my friends this: who would you most like to run into at R.I.P. Schwartz and Sandy's, Jax's? What are your top three? So Kristen is my number one, for everything. So I'm really riding with her. Every storyline that has her in it, I'm into. At the beginning, I wasn't super sold on these kind of indeterminate origin women where I'm just kind of like, where did you come from? I didn't get the names straight. I've been watching all season until 20 minutes ago, I think.
Oh, I'm very confused on who's who.
On the group chat, I'm like, Michelle is... And then the answer to who is usually Melissa when I'm watching, and I go, who is that? It's like, oh, it's Melissa. So her name to me is who is that? Zack has grown on me, just mainly in the sense that he reminds me of just such a 90s token gay. The first gays I knew were exactly like Zack, where I was like, oh, what is this? Oh, it's a gay guy, He's kind of, he's so 90s. I half expect him to just turn to the camera and say, oh no, she didn't. And I'm glad he hasn't. But all that in a bag of chips, talk to the hand. He's giving this very early 90s sitcom gay, which I'm drawn to still.
I like his comedy that he provides. And I do agree, he is one of the first gays you meet as a hag in your experience.
Yes. He's the gateway gay.
Round. He is the gateway gay. I do expect him to show up. He did rollerblade this season, and that felt
gateway
right.
Gay.
Yeah. Speaking of Doute, it's been a huge week for Kristen.
It's been a huge week for Kristen.
She's graced the cover of Us Weekly. Full cover, Angelina Jolie, Brad Pitt style child reveal.
Us Weekly, still in business.
How?
That's my main shock. Is it a brick and mortar magazine still, or is it just?
I think you can get it at the airport.
At the airport only, okay.
Probably at CVS or like a Rite Aid, but those are closing down by the minute.
Know.
So
Well,
I don't know.
Listening to your last episode, that's where I got confirmation. So I wasn't ready for that because I don't know if it's the same local Rite Aid as Carrie's, but I was like, seeing tumbleweeds blow through there for some months now and wasn't able to really accept that might be the case. And then it was confirmed on your pod.
Oh, yeah.
Devastating.
No, it's devastating the community. I don't understand how to get paper towels now.
Where are you going?
Well,
what do we do?
Now
We have to get them online?
one, I guess you get them online, but I need to for paper products, really, I need to touch, I need to behold. And
it's a sensory experience.
Yeah, and
it's an immersive activation.
Investigate the ply level of toilet paper, the width of a roll, and
does it have the multi-size option? That's always what I need to know that.
Yeah, and sometimes if the roll's too big, it won't fit in the toilet paper little holder that's built into the wall in my apartment. So then I'm stuck with a roll outside of the toilet paper holder
You need to gauge the girth.
Yeah, I have to girth gauge. And now with all these stores closing, it makes it hard. And the closest CVS is on 3rd and Fairfax in a very chaotic, congested area.
So are they all closing down? What's the story behind the story with that?
My guess is as good as yours. I truly don't know.
Rite Aid might be out of business. Oh, I don't know if I can handle that.
I think we're just moving towards a completely Amazon-dependent society.
Oh, my God. What are we going to do? Where are we going to go? What are we going to do?
It's unclear.
Our institutions are crumbling.
They're failing us.
And this is just scary.
Day by day. But at least we have a shining North Star. Rite Aid? Can Walgreens just buy them? I don't understand. Because Walgreens is pretty cool. What do you feel of Walgreens?
Walgreens, I patronized when I was living in the Bay Area. But when I moved back here, for some reason, I was a diehard Rite Aid, CVS.
Yeah,
early.
There's not many Walgreens around, but I would say this is a time to get into the market.
Okay, yeah, I'll pivot to Walgreens. Okay, but yes, the North Star.
Yeah, the North Star. Her daughter has come, I believe, to save us all.
Kaya
Lily.
Yes. Kaya Lily Doute Broderick.
Exactly. This feels so wild to see Kristen in this context, knowing how far she's come. Randomly last night, an episode of one of the reunions from season 2 was on, and I just kind of let it play
For
while
Vanderpump?
I was, just messing about. And Tom and Ariana kept repeatedly telling her that she suffered from borderline personality disorder, and she was really thrown by the two of them. They had debuted their relationship on the reunion. And I was like,
my God, those were the days.
If she only knew in the future she'd have Us Weekly.
The Angelina Jolie treatment.
I know.
I mean, this is insane. And I'm really proud of her and happy for her. She is one of my favorite characters. She's one of my favorite reality TV archetypes in general, just made for the genre, made it what it is today. Vanderpump remains, I think, sort of an all-season comforter for every mood. And I just started watching this maybe a year ago.
Really?
Vanderpump.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're fresh to the world.
Yeah, I haven't really watched any Housewives. I just avoided it because I was scared of a persona like Kristen. I thought, I don't need more of this chaos in my life, and that's just going to be too much. And then I grew to love her so much because she is I guess my fear was, without watching any of these things, I thought everyone was probably acting. You know, it's probably all staged. They're probably playing it up. But I think Kristen showed me that would be impossible for her to be acting like that. Do you know what I mean? For that to be the choice.
She's so authentic.
She's so authentic, and I didn't expect that. And so she's dazzled me ever since. I do have to say, after reading the article, I am a little thrown by kind of this rewriting of her as... I felt like most of the interview came from a place of situating her as this calm, good energy, relaxed, laid back. And I feel like, okay, just because there's a couple people on the new show that might be more chaotic than you, I mean, depending on the episode, doesn't mean that you're Ram Dass, Kristen.
No, and I agree. Like, I was curious about who's calling the shots with like the Doute rebrand, because I know that there's darkness that exists in this relationship that's not getting shown to us this season. And I'm like Luke freaking out and like roaming the halls in his underwear at one point. I was like,
so chilling.
Show me this. I need the darkness and the light. And I'm happy for her, but I do miss chaotic Doute. And I think that she's in there somewhere. And I urge whoever is in charge, the powers that be, to draw that out and document it. Because I'll let her have like a few episodes of calm, but I need the chaos as
we
well.
need the bass and the treble.
Mm-hmm.
We need both sides of her, and we see hints of it. You know, I see that glint in her eye sometimes.
And she has been going behind people's backs and being like, orchestrating things.
Well, when she's chewing the straw and saying it's not my man's without a wedding ring, or take, you know what I mean? It's like, okay, there she is. Mm-hmm. Let her blossom. We don't need the Ram Dassification of Kristen.
No.
We need, we just, I want to know what's really going on.
I know, but I think there's a big push. And then this Us Weekly cover kind of confirms that there's like a big PR push to completely reset Doute as like this Earth Mother.
Yes, it's Earth Mother.
It's Gaia. It's positively Gaia.
It's Gaia. And you have to wonder what for James May or for Kaya Lily? Like, why do we need to rebrand her? James May really needs to be wholesome in and out.
I would say James May would probably do better as like rock and roll, like no fucks given
rough
lifestyle.
Around the edges.
Exactly.
Salt of the earth, Kristen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But Kristen has never understood her own allure, I think.
Or her own power. Let's just say it.
Yeah.
She doesn't understand where her power lies. I realize it must be extremely harrowing to watch her, beg for Tom Sandoval back and like show up at the house in the green dress. Or she got punched in the face, right?
Yeah, Stassi punched her in the face.
I mean, all this stuff must be hard to watch, but it was a catharsis for all of us at the same time. She needs to embrace that. Or, it's her journey, as she would probably say now.
Yeah, she is a part of a journey, but I just need that journey to kind of come all the way back around full circle.
Yeah, or maybe we'll get some glimmers of it next season. I think this season they are locked down.
Yeah, I hope to get a glimmer or two. What else is happening in the news? Khloe Kardashian did like a SpawnCon marketing-esque Instagram post where she listed out all the cosmetic procedures she's had done.
Yes.
And just like cleared the air while also tagging the people that did it. And many are frustrated.
I'm looking at the frustration is hitting me too now. I saw this list yesterday in the wild. My first thought was that maybe a couple of them got lost in the mail.
Mm-hmm. I said, be real.
So what does she say now?
So she says nose job and tag Dr. Canodia, laser hair for the hairlines and everywhere else, tagged a laser place. Botox and Sculptra where my face tumor was removed in my jeans.
The face tumor was a jump scare in this list.
Tagged the people that did that. Softwave laser for skin tightening. Tagged them. Filler in the past, but not any over the last few years. I hear it never goes away, so I'm sure it's still there, but calm down. I lost 80 pounds over the years, slow and steady. Tagged her personal trainer. Collagen baby. Threads underneath my chin and neck. Tagged this person. Salmon sperm facials, regular facials, peptides, vitamins, and daily skincare. In 2025, there are many things we can do before surgery, but when it's time and if I choose to, I know some great doctors. Honey,
the math.
Come the fuck on.
She looks like a completely different person.
She has a different bone structure entirely.
Different body completely.
I don't think threads do the voodoo that she's experienced.
Threads don't have that type of hauling power.
No. And I don't think people are really getting threads these days.
I think threads is like an easy middle ground for people to say. Mm-hmm. Like, because I don't think people totally know. I don't think it's very popular. So you can kind of say threads when you really mean.
Yeah, when you mean
some heavier lifting.
So this is what a plastic surgeon got on TikTok and said this is what he thinks she's had done. Botox, brow lift, upper bleph, laser resurfacing, chin implant, face and neck lift.
Absolutely agree.
I agree.
With this.
And that's just the head.
That's just the head.
We haven't even gone below the neck.
Below the neck. Below neck. I mean, the weight loss stuff has always captivated me about Khloe. Not to make it about my own. Oh, that picture that broke my brain.
An instant classic.
That was so insane.
Do you think she was trolling when she posted this, or do you think it was real? Like, there was excitement, there was a looking at that and saying, this is like how I see myself?
Oh my God. I mean, our own perception of ourselves is it's just inherently flawed. I can't imagine. It's like when I post something of myself, I go through the gauntlet in my mind for maybe 24 hours afterwards.
It's hell on earth.
Is that what I look like? You know, how do other people see that? How does this land? I can only imagine for somebody with this amount of reach, the dysmorphia is on. It's like, you know, you're going to get criticism. So I can't help but think that this was for accolades. And that this is what she believed.
This is like, wow.
This is what she saw. I mean, it's so heavily filtered too, but I think at this point she's lost the plot, which I don't blame her for. And this is why I think she's one of the great tragic figures of our time. Not to mention my own podcast, but on my first episode, I went off the rails about how somebody made fan art about it too, which is Khloe adrift in the ocean with her head on the body of an eel. Mm-hmm. Because I said my greatest wish for her was to be reincarnated as a sea creature floating free through the depths of the ocean with no self-perception and no struggles and no vanity and no world looking at her. Because from such early on, she's been on a quest to be, and she's, I think, said this, like, not the ugly sister or the fat sister. I mean, this is what she's been from such an early age. And since then, it just seems like it's been a never-ending quest, which results in things like this, where it's like, it's so divorced from reality. And it's like, God, I don't want her to suffer like this anymore. I just want her to be adrift in a sea, you know, surviving and thriving as an eel.
And like, even in like the deepest, she should be like in the Mariana Trench with those creatures that are just kind of like blobs that exist in utter and total darkness.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, that have like no real bodies or bones.
Yes, just no attachment to any of the earthly pressures that she's felt. The marine life that is not perceptible by, like, no one's discovered these creatures yet.
Yeah. Or it's like if they do kind of shine a light on them, you're like, wow, that's so beautiful. I've never seen anything like that.
You're intoxicated by its beauty. There's nothing like that, ever been discovered.
She needs to exist, like be reincarnated in a life with no mirrors.
And no weight.
Yeah.
Weightless. Mirrorless. Perception free. And truly free.
People, I don't think I've run into people in my like personal life that have gone down this road of filtering. Yeah, but I feel that it's coming because I'm starting to notice that certain people I follow are getting procedures or like looking a little bit different. Like people that I've known for a long time. And I think that's probably just like being around LA for a long time and it being like a very facial forward city.
It's a facial forward.
You're eventually going to start seeing, and as we age, it's like people are going to get plastic surgery, but I haven't seen the filters like truly pop off in people that I'm like, whoa.
In person, you mean?
No, and like on scrolling social media or something and seeing someone that you're like, you wouldn't know them as being like a filter person of this nature, like a face tuner of this ilk presenting.
I haven't seen it either, but I know that day is going to come.
Coming.
It's coming. I'm from another time. So, yeah, my friends, people in my age group, like, aren't really trying it this way. It's actually quite the opposite, which is it's quirky and charming. Like I talk about this thing, and this is my age group. Like when people a little bit older than me, and I saw this coming before I hit 40, but it was like suddenly the angles got really close and they look like they were taken on an Etch-a-Sketch. Like they're so grainy and it's like, and I was like, why are women in their 40s, like at the time I hadn't hit 40, it was like, why is it so close up? Like why is there an isolated upper lip? Like I just didn't know. Why is it, so close? And then when I got to that age, I was like, oh, that's the only way that you look good. Like, not like the only way that I can let a post fly is it's like, oh, it has to be so zoomed in and in a mysterious context.
Showing a mysterious quadrant of the face.
It's quadrants only.
Okay.
After 40.
You're either in quadrants land or you're in a full face tune.
Yes.
Like you, but not you.
There's nothing in between.
In sadder news, Diddy was found not guilty.
Oh my God.
I know, on trafficking and racketeering charges. But he was found guilty on 2 other federal charges. I guess like the charges were traveling to engage in prostitution, which like I didn't realize was illegal. I thought that like prostitution, I knew that prostitution was illegal, but I didn't realize that like just traveling to engage.
So if you're on your way?
I think if you're en route, you're committing a crime. I don't know for sure. I haven't looked in, but I just said, whoa. And for him, he is facing up to 10 years in prison for both of those guilty verdicts. And prosecutors are asking the judge to like throw the book at him. So he might still go to jail for 20 years, which would be appropriate.
Doesn't seem highly likely. I'm reeling because on the way here, I Googled the verdict. I didn't know if it had come down and I only saw the guilty ones. So I thought he got, it's 2 that are guilty.
It's 2 that are guilty. And then like the 2 biggest ones that would have caused him to spend life in prison were not guilty. I don't even know. I feel just my gut reaction was like there was juror manipulation or like some sort of bigger thing at play. I just feel like he has so much power and reach that he can like manipulate the legal system at will.
Wow. And, never underestimate how much women are still hated.
Yeah. And people are like, we don't really care.
Yeah, I mean that.
But traveling.
Oh, but
now that is where I'm going to take a big issue.
The environmental impact.
The carbon emissions.
Wow. Oh my God. So this is it?
I guess, well, it's not totally over yet because he has to get sentenced. But now his, for transporting people to engage. Okay, he was convicted of 2 counts under the Federal Mann Act for transporting people, including his girlfriends and paid male sex workers to engage. Okay, that makes sense. But how is that different from trafficking? Is trafficking just like you're transporting them, but they don't have their passport? Like you hold their passport and they don't get to look at it, but then... Oh, okay. Good to know. The more you learn every day, ask more questions. Never stop questioning.
Wow.
Well, I hope he rots in prison.
Me too. Rot in hell.
Rot in fucking hell.
Rot in hell.
Now he's asking for $1 million bond so he can just wait at home. But I think he's like a legitimate threat to everyone.
Society.
To society.
To everyone, to us.
He's like a sex pest who cannot be stopped. You can't go from fucking the way that he was fucking to then getting out on a $1 million bond and not like have just like lube on the walls.
No lube is safe, that's for sure.
No baby oil is safe. Stock of Johnson & Johnson, if he gets out, buy now because it's going through the roof.
Rite Aid, that's why Rite Aid's going out of business.
Yeah, Diddy. Funny how that occurred, where Diddy's trial happened and then suddenly Rite Aid's out of business. No one's buying baby oil in bulk anymore.
We see the threats. I mean, the scariest thing is he's insatiable.
Yeah.
This is why this happened. So much money, so much power. When you're that rich and famous, regular sex.
Isn't going to cut it.
Missionary Mary wasn't cutting the mustard. So now he's done everything. That is not sated ever.
No.
And that's why he's still a menace to society.
Yeah. And like when he doesn't
it's never going to be enough.
When someone's like, I don't feel like getting fucked for like 18 hours straight, he like beats the shit out of them, which is like,
I'm laughing.
No, but it's like, okay, can you just, you could find other people to do it.
18 hour?
Yeah, you could find, like, if it's that important, like, let's just keep rotating. But it's not about, it's like about power and exertion and control.
Yeah.
I love that no one, they're like, we don't see it in the jury.
Yeah, that reminds me of the OJ trial where they were like, somebody on that trial was literally like, she shouldn't have messed around on him. Like afterwards she was interviewed. It was like
great,
an older lady, and it was just so matter of fact. You got to behave when you can't step out on a man. She didn't keep her head above water. Mm-hmm. It's like, oh damn, this really is a sample of the population.
Yeah, I hope he doesn't get out on bail. But remains to be seen.
Oh, God. He's going to get into the darkest shit ever. We don't even know. This is child's play.
Yeah.
Compared.
He needs to, if he's out on bail, he should be mandatory cock cage.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
Just a punishment element.
Well, he's already punished enough that Rite Aid is closed. Like the rest of us. Let's not go too far.
Has anyone told him yet?
He's really going to go ballistic. Who knows who he'll drag through a hallway after that one.
I know. Should we get into the reason for the season?
Yes.
Which is not Diddy getting acquitted. It's not Khloe and her threads. It is Doute and company. I'm Lara. And say, I'm Heather.
I'm Heather.
And you're listening to Sexy Unique Podcast, Valley of the Dolls. Okay, so we start with a kickoff dinner.
Yes, the kickoff dinner.
Hawaii for like 48 hours. It seems like it's a very short trip.
Yeah.
Like 48, maybe 72 hours. I would just hope that they would get like a week or something.
Yeah, I mean...
But maybe in season 3, they'll get there.
Well, we'll get here, but certainly some of the guests wanted to get in and get out.
Mm-hmm.
They were not trying to...
Stick around
in paradise.
Doute and Luke are missing from the dinner, and Luke is on the brim because his grandmother's about to croak.
Yes.
And he's really going through it, but I would have loved to see more of his emotional journey.
Because we kind of just got a montage, like later on.
He's a bit brooding. He's very concerned.
He's a little bit snappy, uptight. He just seems, he's really, he's crashing out.
But I'm like, I can't get a real sense this season of what he and Kristen's relationship dynamic is.
Oh, not at all. Not at all. Not with the rebrand.
It's been hidden.
What I enjoyed about seeing him at dinner and seeing him like not at his best was it kind of, to me, gave us something special in that it almost felt like an AI rendering of Van Gogh's descent into madness. And it's kind of like, we'll never know. We'll never see Van Gogh crashing out and cutting off his ear. Instead, we get Luke snorting wasabi.
Yeah. Doute and Luke finally get to dinner, and Doty's mad at Janet. I think you don't even need a reason for me to be mad at Janet.
Okay,
I think anyone can be mad at Janet anytime, and it makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Like, if you came in here and said, I fucking am so mad at Janet, I'd be like, tell me about it.
Yes. Yes. You don't jive with her?
I think she's an essential worker on the show. But she also challenges me, but I also kind of crave her because I do think there's a darkness to her. Like, she's a bit of a punisher, as we see by the end of the episode. Like, she's a little bit act one way and then say something totally different, like once she's off the phone with someone. So, and she's very like hateable and lights other people up. Like, I think the audience at large does not jive with Janet, and that makes me laugh. And I think that's good friction for like a character that can spend many seasons on a show.
And it is essential.
It is.
For the
cast. You kind of have to have like a random, like, smug
disruptor.
Yeah, she is a disruptor in this space. What maketh you of Janet?
I feel like, yeah, I'm glad she's on the show. I don't really get where she comes from. Or, like I said, indeterminate origin. She just could have been plucked from, my high school. It's like she's giving somebody that I went to high school with who was like, what is her function in the world other than kind of liking wings and, getting drunk and starting and pointing fingers at what was the thing she kept saying?
She was
be accountable.
Accountability. Yeah, she got shit-faced and then said that Kristen never is held accountable.
Yeah, she's kind of neither here nor there. For me, it doesn't make... She's just a little bit of reheating of Kristen's decades-long nachos. Decades-old nachos.
And I wish her more success on the show. I don't want her off the show.
No, it's going well. Somebody's got to do it.
I know. And if it's not going to be Kristen, which I think also it's like they're giving her the good edit because she's getting engaged, and because I think people are worried, our producers are worried that the Jackson Brittany stuff is so dark that they can't have just like every couple be dark. But I would like to argue and posit that you could.
Yes.
And it would actually be incredible.
To me, those are the best parts of the show so far. Like Danny's alcoholism. I mean, anything looks like a walk in the park compared to Jackson Brittany. Anything is a relief after seeing that.
Yeah. Jason asks Aaron how it's been going with Jesse. And I have a theory that Aaron is constantly taking ayahuasca because
the reactions,
his eyes are so wide. Like, what is he seeing? What is he perceiving? There are things like, is he schizophrenic? Like I fell into a TikTok algorithm where like a schizophrenic man is making like videos showing viewers what it's like to be schizophrenic, like from a POV and I was like, wow, is this what Aaron's going through? Because like he's living in a wide-eyed either wonder or fear at all times.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of when a family moves. I don't know what family, but a family moves into a haunted house and like the family pets can see the spirits and they're just kind of always reacting to that. And you're like, you're seeing the other side and I'm here, you know, or it's ayahuasca. I don't know. He's definitely going through a journey that causes me to have the same reactions. When I'm watching, I realize I'm going with him and writing with him on the facial expressions, and it's incredible to watch.
He's an audience proxy, perhaps.
Yes. He's causing me to react with a wide-eyed wonder.
I love him saying about Jesse, there's shit that just can't be comprehended.
Yeah, that's giving ayahuasca.
It is. It's like, well, then what is it?
I love that. It could be a psychedelic experience that he's having.
And then Jesse asks him to like hang back for a second. And it's revealed that Aaron had posted a picture of Isabella on Father's Day, which was like a capital sin.
Yes.
And caused a lot of drama. And Jesse felt, quite frankly, disrespected by that. And then we get to the big, most important question that's been getting teased now for 4 episodes. Cliffhanger from last episode. Did you cross the line with Michelle?
I feel like I've been waiting for this my whole life. I feel like I've seen this clip for 10 years where he sits him down and asks him. And yeah, he said no. Do we believe him?
All that buildup for just no, absolutely not.
Yeah, I don't know who to believe.
I said, this is how we're going to start Q3?
I mean, if you're peddling honey at the foot of Runyon, I think there's something sus about that, just inherently.
That's true. That is weird.
I mean,
that is actually very strange.
It's strange behavior.
Because when I'm setting out on like a hike in the heat, in the dust, the last thing I truly want to engage with or purchase on the way up or back is a jar of honey.
That's what I'm saying. He's trying to stick people in it. He's trying to catch.
What did he say? He was like, Michelle and I only met up twice, once at a coffee shop and once when I told her I would be selling my honey at Runyon.
Yeah. Do we believe him? Do you believe him?
I don't know, and I don't even know if I care.
We don't care.
I don't care.
Let's just put this to bed.
Yeah. We'll put it to bed. We'll put a pin in it now. I don't care. I just assume that Jesse and Michelle cheated on each other during the course of their 8-year relationship. And I don't really care, and I think it's fine.
It's fine. It's fine. We're all fine with it.
Yeah. The only person that is like banging the drum, Jesse caring too much makes me think that he's guilty of even more like infidelities.
It's always, you know, the greasiest wheel that gets
the loudest person.
Yeah. I mean,
agree. But they managed to bury the hatchet.
Yes.
And it seems as though they might be bros.
Yeah. I mean, it would be a whole lot nicer if they could just end this storyline and be bros. And you can kind of see, well, we'll get there. But later on, I feel like Jesse kind of breaks. You know, when that joke is made about him saying, oh, you really want to go there about the hockey.
About the hockey.
Or whatever. And it's like they kind of have a moment of levity that felt good. Just as a viewer, I kind of like exhale, like, finally. Just get past this.
Yeah, because like Jesse and Michelle's I like to experience Jesse either in a state of joy or a state of pain, like inner pain that he's masking with like booze. But I don't necessarily like to see him calling Michelle a whore, accusing her of like cheating on him. I just like to see him crash out over the fact that she's like moving on and that he's still like in love with her.
Yeah.
Which I think he is continuing to do deep into this episode in very subtle ways.
Yeah, we want to see men do the work, not necessarily the whore, hooker, prostitute. I mean, that really got old. That was also very 90s in this way.
It was, yeah. It was 1.0.
Like, we don't say these things anymore.
No.
We're not out here doing this. It was just bizarre.
Nia has entered a spray tan bloodbath in her and Danny's bed.
Completely just living in her own squalor.
I've never witnessed anything like this.
That was shocking.
This is animalistic behavior that she displayed.
It was like you're sleeping in your own filth.
Like, I get that you're in a hotel and like you can get the sheets dirtier in a hotel. Like, I'll eat on the bed in a hotel when I wouldn't necessarily eat on the bed in my own room. But like, you're just gonna like
leave it?
Dirty it up like that. She goes, I hope they change the sheets when we leave. I was like,
warbling.
I fucking hope so too. I hope you leave like a $25 tip minimum for housekeeping.
I was thinking the same thing. I thought that was so, I immediately thought of the workers.
I know.
Cleaning it up. And also what bummed me out was the workers probably seeing that and knowing exactly what it was because it happens so often. Like not being horrified, like not being confused, just being like, oh, another one.
Mm-hmm. And like
another pig.
You wouldn't even just sleep in like bring like a long sleeve sweatshirt and sweatpants. Just no care in the world.
No concern whatsoever.
That told me a lot about her character. It gave me a glimpse into something that I didn't like what I saw.
And she's the one that lived in her car, right?
Yeah.
So that makes it even more strange.
I know.
But that's a thing too. Like when poor people get rich. What is it? Oh, being a class trader.
Mm-hmm.
That's what
the ultimate display of class trader.
Yes.
Kristen, we get the flashback that Luke crashed out the night before. Kristen, this is where I'm like, I think that beneath all her like rock and roll, like hard living BPD facade, Kristen is a real nerd from Michigan because she challenged the entire dinner table to snort wasabi off of a knife.
Yeah. Knife hits.
And I was utterly confused by that.
Yeah, have you ever heard of that before?
I think like in terms of like a YouTube challenge,
yes,
I have. I'm familiar with that, but like never at like an adult dinner, a gathering, on vacation, no less. If someone was saying that, I'd be like, what?
Yes.
We're 40.
This is why I question the rebrand so much, is because there's glimmers of like when they went to the winery. I was so triggered seeing them behave like that at their age. I was just like, oh my God, if I were there, I would kill myself. Like I literally would like to be around these people like, what is this? You know, just, I mean, they were they regressed.
Yeah. Like
30 years at the winery, like being around, you know, like in a place where, I mean, they don't need, it's not, she's not the Queen of England. I'm not expecting, you know, fully mature behavior. But at the same time, I was like, oh my God, these people are children. And they're also on TV.
Yeah.
So they're producing the moment. And I can't imagine how many pockets she's got to reach into to just glue these scenes together somehow.
They're pigs at heart.
They're pigs at heart.
And I was also missing more of like Kristen's perspective on was she truly surprised? Did she have an idea that this engagement was happening? We were very much in the Gaia rebrand from her perspective with only a knife hit to go off of as like who the old Kristen, the real Kristen truly is.
Yeah. I thought they should have spent more time on that, personally. Like, the montage wasn't enough.
No. And then, like, apparently Luke kind of yelled at her and then stormed around about the halls of this hotel in his underwear. And
yeah, that was so dark.
Yeah, what was that?
They don't want to give it away. They don't
want us to know. Maybe eventually by the end of the season we'll get a little more intel. They're not married yet, though, are they?
I don't know.
They're still a very long engagement.
Okay. Yeah.
I think, yeah.
It very much gives that.
The next day, everyone's by the pool. And I had multiple who is that moments.
I wrote, who is that?
First with Aaron, I said, who's that guy?
I wrote, who is that?
And then I said, who is that about Melissa? And I was like, literally very much.
Who is that?
Who is that?
Melissa was the one where I was like, is Sheena there? Like,
yeah.
Who is that? I thought it was one of the main girlies, but.
Strangers in a Strange Land.
Yes. Very jarring.
To see Brittany there with, like, flanked by Janet, Melissa, Jasmine, Aaron, I was like, wait, what am I watching? What show am I on now?
Yeah, what is this? Who are they?
Who are these people? Where did they come? How did we all get here?
I felt the same way. I felt like I constantly kept waking up from a fever dream because I would be like, wait, Janet's here. But then I was like, she hates Kristen. So why is she here?
Yeah. And what does she care?
And it's like, and then I lost track of who knew and who didn't. So the rest of them just thought it was a normal trip. They didn't know about this surprise. Only 2 of them are going to be there for it because there's so much drama. It was a fever dream. It was a labyrinth.
And it was not as well executed as it could have been.
No, it felt like an experimental film.
It was like experimental theater.
It was.
Because why couldn't they have just given Kristen and Luke the suite from the jump?
Yeah, and why was Jessie sharing a room with the gay guys?
I don't understand that. And like they could have just had the room and been like, oh my God, what a good luck. Like, we got upgraded, but we have to share with Jessie. And so that would make it like less obvious. If Jessie's around, you don't think you're getting engaged. So yeah, problem solved. But
exactly.
Like, once I'm checked into a hotel for a day, I don't want to switch rooms with my friend. That's never been an urge of mine. And my reaction would be like, no, I'm good in my room. It's where my stuff is.
Yeah. I think they probably thought hijinks would ensue, but it was just a very tangled web. It was very narratively. And I was watching wide-eyed like Aaron at like 7:30 a.m. And I still couldn't keep track of all the nooks and crannies of this damn episode.
No. And Benji and Zack are packing up their room, and then Doute barges in, and she is stunned into silence by Benji's kimono.
Rendered speechless.
This is the Doute I crave, who literally sees a kimono and is like, that's so cute. She goes, that's so cute. And he goes, thanks, maybe I'll wear it to dinner. And then she's, in a threatening way, kind of says, if you don't, I fucking will.
I know.
That I said, magic.
That was the old magic coming back. I felt like, okay, we're by the dumpster outside of
someone give this woman a cigarette.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was incredible. Just the venom. Yeah. The threat. It was terrifying.
What do you make of Benji?
Yes. Benji in the kimono. Couldn't pick him out of a lineup. Doesn't have much to say. I think he could be turning up a lot more, just in terms of, he could be matching Zack a little bit more with he's another token gay that could really, really be dropping the one-liners, but he's abstaining or they're having regrets over adding yet another person to this sprawling cast of which I can't keep track after watching for seemingly years on end.
I would love maybe we need a one-on-one interview with Benji to kind of take his temperature, see where his head's at.
Has he never been a talking head?
Maybe with Zack, but I can't think of like a moment where I've gotten to know his perspective.
Gotten to really know him and what he's thinking. Yeah, he's feeling like a prop at this point.
Yeah, and he also is so small in stature compared to Zack that it throws me a little bit.
He's getting lost.
He's getting a little bit lost.
Yeah, lost in the folds of the kimono.
And then I just like picture them together like in a sexual nature.
We don't. Lars,
I know it's
why
that.
Are we?
I know.
Can I have a moment? I'm giving Jax. I'm suddenly Jax being like, Cruz. Can I have a second?
Yeah, so I just
you're going to put your hand on my chest.
I know,
if you want to talk about that. I'm going to need some support.
I said I fucked up when you recoiled as I talked about Zack and Benji's sex life. It made me feel like I was a bad person.
Thank you for that. I have anger issues. That's my main drug.
Luke comes in and goes, "Babe, will you shave my neck?"
I missed that.
He is trying to get groomed up for his big proposal.
Oh, how did I miss that?
And everyone's also trying to like encourage Kristen to shower.
Yes, I definitely was in that storyline deeply. And she's like, no, it's just going to be fish guts all over the bus or all over the boat. It's going to be... Yeah, it's going to be a floating trash heap, and I'm going to fit right in.
Yeah, you don't need to shower if you're in Hawaii.
I agree with that.
Yeah, I think you go beach to table.
Yeah, it's very much beach to table.
I'm also curious as to why they had to do a fishing boat. Like, why couldn't it have just been like a sunset cruise with...
It seemed like they were trying to string that logic together at the end when Zack was like, they knew I wouldn't want to go fishing. So it had to be fishing. So it was something about...
Because he was going to prepare the...
He had other stuff to do, so he couldn't be there. But the fact that it was fishing made him naturally excluded.
Yeah, but I would argue, like, why don't you have everyone just go? I think that they shouldn't have invited Janet. But then if you don't invite Janet, who's going to fight?
They're just competing with... There's too much going on.
There's a lot going on.
I was frankly glad that no one was there.
You enjoyed the fishing.
I didn't enjoy it.
No, I mean, like, I enjoyed that, like, if it were me and I was getting engaged, I would be like, there's a lot of rods in the mix.
Yes.
Which doesn't read as like romantic.
Too much going on. I think I was relieved just as a viewer. Again, we've been seeing the trailer for 16 years at this point. I've seen her watch him get on his knee. I've seen her reaction. It was just, I don't think I was conscious of this, but there was a lot of momentum building and it almost seemed like too much to have, you know, this B and C storylines, the conflict between all the cast. It's for that to also be present at this moment that I feel like I've been training for my entire life was just, I just felt a relief. I just felt it in my body. It wasn't even, you know, something I was conscious of, but I felt like, okay, this is at least scaled back a little bit so we can actually see what's going on here versus having to keep track of all of the other interpersonal stuff.
Yeah. We could have done bottle episode just following Doute and Luke, like raw footage, day in the life.
Yes.
Split screen.
Yes.
And then like each of them going about their day.
It gave me some breathing room that I needed.
Meanwhile, at Brittany and Jax's House of Horrors, Jax is once again reunited with Cruz.
After 7 days. It's like The Ring. He's like, in 7 days, you're going to have to see your son.
He goes, it's been 7 days since I left the facility. I love still calling it the facility.
The facility. It is a beautiful rehab.
Not a random rehab. It's a beautiful rehab. He goes, yeah, I was gone for so long that I thought Cruz was going to forget about me. But we picked up right back where we left off. And I was like, your concept of like humanity and just the human like biology is stunning. To think that he would go away for 17 days, to think that any parent would go away from a 3-year-old or a 2-year-old for 17 days and then they would completely forget who you are.
Yeah, he's not a hamster.
Even a dog doesn't do that.
No, I don't. I've Googled, do dogs forget about you? And just to say, like, make sure they won't forget about me.
Yeah.
It's definitely in the drop down in my searches. And yes, a human being. I mean, he hasn't even researched that. He's like, well, if he does, he does.
Hope we'll have to rebuild from zero, from the ground up.
And that's another thing I got to do.
He's back wearing his like Jax's Studio City hat, so I know that he's like not sober fully.
I think I felt the same thing in my body. Couldn't articulate it as beautifully as you just did.
That's my barometer, is like how much Jack's Studio City merch is he wearing, or does it exist like on his person? Like when he was going to meet before rehab, he was wearing a sweatshirt and a hat. But then after rehab, he just was carrying the hat and putting it on the table next to him, facing the camera.
That's a different degree of sobriety or willingness to surrender to the 12 steps.
Thinking about you're craving alcohol, you're wanting a drink, but you're not quite there yet. So you do grab the hat and it's with you on the table. But then once you've had that initial post-rehab drink, hat goes back on.
Hat is back on and you're back in business.
Mm-hmm.
And you're talking about your son. What does he say? The best medication I have right now. He's talking about his child. That really threw me. I was like, you want to snort your son. You wish you could snort your son, and you would not have been away for 7 days if you could. You would have been cutting that shit right up.
If he found out that he could snort children, it would be game over.
If it was going to provide, an unprecedented high, he would do it.
1,000%.
Have you seen him in person?
It's been years since I've seen him in person.
Well, he definitely forgot about you.
He's fully forgotten about me. He, I think, would forget about me. We had met, I think, multiple times, but he had forgotten about me.
Oh, you met?
Each time. Yeah, we've met. Like, I podcasted with him like way back in the day. I want to say like 2015 or 2016.
Oh, wow. Because you're such a day one. This podcast is an institution.
Yeah. So it's I've been around the block with a lot of these people.
Been to hell and back.
To hell and fucking back. And they all used to kind of live around the neighborhood that I live in. So I would run into them at fitness classes a lot. Like there was this one fitness studio.
Sweat Garage.
R.I.P. COVID took it the fuck out. But
you know what's so random is I knew you went to Sweat Garage because we were friends on ClassPass. And I only had one friend on ClassPass. It's not a social media site. I think they rolled out that feature and then never made it easy. But we were friends on there. So I would see Lars is going to Sweat Garage at 11 a.m. And I went to Sweat Garage too. It was one of my favorites.
It was great.
When the garage door closed. So were Vanderpump people going there?
Jax and Brittany were in multiple classes. Oh. I need to shout out right now to Derek, who was a Sweat Garage instructor that really brought it. And he would play the same tracks every time. But they were there was a song that's like, I'm losing it. Doom, 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 doom. And he'd play that and he would get up between where two treadmills would meet while people were running on them. And he'd go,
I remember this guy.
Remember him? He would always he'd wait and then he'd break it down on the treadmill during class.
Yes. And he was a very supportive. They were very supportive there.
He was my
individual
favorite.
Support.
Yeah.
Which usually, no, thank you.
No.
I want to be anonymous and considered invisible during a group fitness class, but I really appreciate it from the team at Sweat Garage, R.I.P.
I know.
You can't have a name like Sweat Garage enduring the pandemic.
Certainly not. They were set up for failure from the inception.
Wow, that's so cool you saw them there.
Yeah, so I had seen them there multiple times back in the halcyon days of their gorgeous relationship.
Yes.
And yeah, they were putting in the work.
Wow. Amazing. I just bring that up because I've only witnessed Jack in his natural habitat, Jax's once.
Studio City.
Yes, Studio City, not to be confused with the other locations. He just gave, it was the same as the show. I didn't talk to him, but he was just absolutely manic and sweating and wearing all the merch head to toe.
Oh, fully. High as a kite.
High as a kite, out of his mind, picking up throw pillows off the floor and acting, just everything about the bar he was connected to in some way, in like a really stressful way, like things he didn't have to be worried about.
Mm-hmm.
He was like focused on, like, yeah, just confirming he was on coke, everybody.
I think that if you are Jax, or I mean, R.I.P. to Schwartz and Sandy's indeed, because
loved that place.
If only it had worked out for them, like in another alternate timeline, it really did work out for them.
In another timeline, it was the Cheers of Franklin Village.
Mm-hmm. But like,
so sad, the sad sigh.
To be just like struggling with substance abuse and then open a bar that you can essentially just be at and it's a write-off must be the best feeling ever.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Jack's going strong though, right?
I think so, yeah.
Well, we'll see.
Yeah, TBD. All the boys, Jason, Jesse, and Aaron are sharing some shaved ice, chatting about... Jesse reveals he had a hockey career. Did you know this about him?
No, I don't know anything about these people.
I'm like, we learn new things about him every day. He dated Anna Nicole Smith.
Yes, I know that. And that's like kind of all I know.
He had a tongue ring. He apparently was a professional hockey player.
And was concussed.
Then got a concussion. Then became like a luxury real estate.
Yeah.
Salesperson.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's still much to learn.
He got triggered during this scene,
mm-hmm.
which I'm really flinchy watching scenes with him and Aaron.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, oh God.
I'm on guard.
Being around the kind of latent looming rage, I found that is deeply uncomfortable for me to watch.
Yeah. And Aaron doesn't have the same like dominant energy that Jesse has. So, and Jesse still obviously harbors a lot of anger.
Yes.
So we'll see how this plays out.
Yeah, that's why I kind of felt relieved when there was a little bit of a moment of levity between them here.
Jax FaceTimes them, and I was just like, Jax must be like, who is that guy about Aaron? Because I don't know if he's even interfaced with him. They go, look who we're here with, man. It's me and Jesse. And I was like, Jax must be so confused.
Yeah, he's like, great.
Doute's engagement boat ride, the ruse of the fishing excursion, is underway. And I can't think of anything more stress-inducing than a woman like Nia being like, let's take girly pics.
Oh
let's take swimsuit pics. Like, come on, get ready.
So triggering.
I would have I'd throw myself into the sea.
Me too. I would walk the plank.
I don't want to know. Like, I don't want to do that with her.
No, I don't really want to do that with anybody. I don't even I hate the group, that moment when you're waiting for the picture to be taken. And there's no moment longer in life than the eternity between that elapses with the three people that are taking the pictures. And then you're like, can we disassemble? And the answer is never yes.
I just got a really bad chill, like a staged group photo on a boat.
You're all tensed to disperse, and then it never happens.
And you're never going to feel that truly happy with the results.
No. And you don't know when the pictures are actually being taken.
Yeah.
Because it's multiple people that really, I got a visceral sense of that with the pressure to take the couple's photos.
And Nia, she's trying to be more soft about it, but Doute's not picking up that you literally have 3 minutes of this gorgeous glowing sunlight left.
Adding a countdown to a deadline to it.
And is sitting on the ring, which I was like, why isn't the ring just in Luke's pocket?
Yeah, it's like buried in.
There's a lot of different like stressful logistics that people are trying to figure out. But I really did love tricking her with the promise of dolphins.
That was so good.
And she took the bait 1,000%.
And who wouldn't? I was even looking for them. And I was in on the ruse. I was like, oh. And I was like, oh, wait, that's really good.
Primo. And then she's so engaged with the prospect of a dolphin sighting that Luke is awkwardly down on one knee behind her for like a little too long and starts his speech while like jiggling her butt a little bit, trying to get her attention.
Baby, we've had some awesome adventures. I couldn't believe he started with that.
He could be saying anything. She's not even listening.
Not at all.
And he's squeezing.
Yeah.
And she's on the look for a dolphin. And then he's like, hey, turn around. Will you be the catch of my lifetime? She's a vegetarian. She doesn't like to fish. She doesn't agree with the killing of animals, taking of lives for food. So this analogy is not the best.
It's hearkening back to Jack's taking her to lunch at the smokehouse, a steakhouse. They have no regard for her dietary restrictions.
No one respects Kristen's VEGIHOLIC
She's
vibes.
Like, yes. She's like, I'll just get a wedge at the steakhouse.
She's so shocked and so nervous. And then I get bamboozled, like when people get engaged, except with Jax and Brittany. I was like, this is a cursed union that should not be happening.
Like you drink the Kool-Aid.
I do a little bit where I'm like, oh.
Well, I don't know if I'm proud or humiliated to admit this, but I cried.
Really?
Yes.
You were moved?
Yes. I found myself crying. Like actual tears, not like the ones that Jack spills when he's talking about Cruz, which are non-existent.
When he rubs his eyes.
Yeah, he's just like, oh my God, Cruz. Who was that again? No, I was literally tears streaming. So I really drank the Kool-Aid too. I thought it was so sweet. Like, I thought she was genuinely surprised the ruse worked. She was so shocked, and so, like, seeing her reaction made me cry. I don't know that I necessarily feel the promise and, like, the whole, rest of their lives together. I don't know if I completely... Again, we are not privy to a lot going on in this relationship, and there's so much we don't know.
I know, and someone has got to pull back the curtain.
Someone has to, because Kristen, what always gets me is she still drinks so much.
Yeah, she's a boozer.
Yeah.
You can even see it on her. Like, there's certain times of puffiness where I'm like, oh, Doute put one on last night. She tied it on.
Yeah,
my
she
girl.
Did. And so, yeah, but in that moment, I was completely moved.
I was like moved to the point where I was like, you know what? I give it about 6 years.
6?
Yeah. I was feeling bullish on the whole thing.
Yeah. Wow. 6 years. I could see that.
Yeah. That seemed like a good number for them.
And now with the arrival of
Kaya Lily
Rose, Kaya Lily. It's definitely tax on a couple years.
She says, Luke is my rock. And I kind of do believe he's a grounding force for her.
Yes, I think so too.
And she gets to be less of like she gets to be nerdy around him, I think.
Yeah, they had some cute moments.
Because I'm thinking of who she's only dated really rockers and musicians.
Rockers is so funny. It's true. She likes a rocker.
She loves a rocker.
Just an LA rocker.
And like even Carter was like a photographer. Like she needed like a more stable kind of weird dude.
Right. Maybe someone who isn't an artist in this lifetime. Although he was Van Gogh in a past life.
Indeed.
But wait, what does he do?
That's a great question. I feel like
he's not an artist, right? I'm literally confusing him with Van Gogh.
You're confusing him with Van Gogh. I feel like he's a carpenter of sorts.
Yes, something like that.
I feel like he's like a handyman.
Yeah.
But like...
Are we completely making that up, though?
I'm just spiritually... That's like
what you're connecting to.
The energy I'm reading on him is that there's like carpentry in the mix, or like hanging of things, or he
works with his hands.
Yeah, woodworking.
Yes. He knows a trade. We don't know which one, but...
it's trade.
It's giving... he's the trade of the season.
A carpenter / reality star. I mean, this show's about to enter its 3rd season. They're not filming yet, so I don't know if it's like gotten officially renewed, but I do think it's season 3 you renegotiate, and that's when you start getting more paid for the show.
Okay.
So he's now...
You have the insider.
They're getting like, I guess, the dual income of being on a successful reality show is not to be underestimated. So maybe they're just both reality stars.
Yeah, but I mean, it's a testament to the storytelling or lack thereof that we literally have no idea.
So many mysteries.
Who he was before.
Zack and Benji tell Jesse about the engagement, and Jesse's enthusiasm is endearing.
It was really cute.
But I also think this triggered him, and he immediately began drinking. Because, like, at some point in the night, like, once they all come back and the surprise is announced, he, like, spills his drink at one point. Like,
I missed that.
And then he is slurring. He goes, "This is your moment, and you define your moment." And I was like, oh, he's shit tanked.
That is so scary. That kind of, like, nugget of wisdom at that point in the drunkenness is really dark. And he also launched immediately into another kind of addict mode, which is over like compulsive spending.
Yeah.
He immediately went into, this is about me doing something because I must be distracted from the...
And that resonated with me. I said, I like this guy. I like the energy of like, we have to buy 1,000 flowers right now. That I was
Is
like,
that something you would have done?
I would support it.
Right. You would be egging it on.
I don't know if budgetarily I'm not like in a place of 1,000 hibiscus, but if someone else is and they're feeling manic about it, I'm like 1,000%
You're cheering them on.
I'm like, I'll help you spread them around.
Yeah, totally.
And no pay, but help.
Yeah, no pay. It's for exposure.
Yeah. Brittany goes, "Do you think we can room service shots?"
I knew you were going to love that one.
It really spoke to me.
Say it again.
Do you think we can room service shots?
You are so... That is uncanny.
How much is a shot these days? Do you know? I'm not familiar with the shot pricing structure.
I haven't purchased a shot in 30 years. Like I said, I'm from another time, and I left shots deeply in my 20s, I think. I'm guessing they're like $9. No? Oh my God.
They're more than $9? A shot? One shot?
Like out and about, or
wherever.
$17 in WeGo? No.
For one shot? Brittany's going to spend $50 on like 2 shots getting them room serviced. I love her commitment to shots, though.
Yeah. What's the range?
It's like $15. It's low end $4 to $8, mid range $8 to $15, high end upscale or $15 plus. You're right.
Wow.
That's dark as fuck.
You could just get a bottle.
But then it takes away the joy of shots.
Yeah. Then how do you get the glass? And you have to take a shot from a shot glass. Yeah. We need her back in the shots mix.
Yeah, for sure.
Zack is calling everyone to let them know about the engagement. He's in party planning mode. He's really frazzled. His energy was giving me stress.
Yes.
I also caught that at the open bar because I guess they're having a luau, a cookout in an open bar or in an area, but the bar itself for their big party is not an open bar. They've listed bar prices.
Oh, I missed that.
I'm always like eagle-eyeing for what's comped and what's not comped.
Yeah, you really...
Because I just want to know, because I'm like, these people, like you would hope that they would go to Hawaii and drink for free, but they're not getting, it's not a free lunch at the Hyatt.
The show isn't paying for them?
There were, all I can say is that there were bar prices displayed.
Prices.
There were prices displayed at the private function.
That means they were paying.
Mm-hmm.
Are we worried about Britney at all? Like with the drinking?
Not yet.
Okay.
She hasn't given me reason. I mean, always I'm harboring some worry for her.
Right.
I mean, I worry for her for a variety of reasons.
Many reasons.
But I guess like my top worry is getting successfully divorced from Jax and getting like the papers signed and the custody agreement figured out and like the financials.
That's priority number one.
And like surviving. Like I worry about Jax like hurting her.
I mean, I was going to say she is in physical danger.
She's in danger.
And no one...
And then we really glaze over that.
We persist.
Mm-hmm. I worry about her style. And then I worry about her alcoholism.
Okay, got you.
So it's third on the list.
I think you have your priorities in perfect order.
Yeah, they decorate. Everyone decorates their suite. And the room switch is complete. And Nia and Danny usher a newly affianced couple, Luke and Kristen, into the first day of the rest of their lives. Mm-hmm. And I really am freaked out by like how happy Nia is that they're getting engaged and getting married.
Yeah. Again, it's another pivot away from the personal.
The fixation on like, have you ever been married? You've never been married.
No.
And I would venture to say you're not like a marriage-minded person.
Not at all. I've always found it quite chilling. It's very spooky.
Same. Like I could get caught up in like the tornado of like the romance of a wedding that would be my own, but I don't super connect to that for like others. I'm like, if you want it, that's fine. If you don't, that's fine. But the level of like excitement at this kind of like buying things off Amazon and like really celebrating and making it so important that people get married is just like an alien language to me.
It's elevated in a way that I don't understand. I don't necessarily not believe in it, but just for me, it's never been. I've always been a little bit confused.
The end all be all.
About, and like, yeah, getting that amount of attention, I would be uncomfortable. And then if we broke up, which we would, again, just speaking from my own knowledge of self, it would be embarrassing. So it's just never added up for me.
And especially with Doute and Luke, I'm like, you have the baby. So like, why do you need to get married?
Yeah.
I think having a kid binds you more to someone forever than a wedding ever will.
Yeah.
But Danny and Nia are really, Nia goes, welcome to, she was like, your new life as an engaged person or something like that.
Triggeroni. She is eating a piping hot bowl of Triggeroni. She cannot, she's basically speaking like she's singing a Tori Amos song. It's so warbly.
I worry for her.
Yeah.
My worry meter is high for Nia.
She's definitely the most... something's got to give.
Yeah, she's compromised.
Yeah, severely compromised.
Everyone surprises them, and then Jesse gives his kind of like shit-faced toast, and I was like, oh, he's triggered.
He's blacked out.
People
already.
Are celebrating love. His ex-wife, soon-to-be ex-wife, is there with her new guy that she's in love with. He's not getting the confirmation he seeks.
Wait, Jesse?
Jesse is not getting the confirmation about this affair. And now he's just alone.
Yeah, that was really... Why? And his girlfriend can't be there because...
I'm unclear on that. I would love for her to be there.
That's probably next season.
I pray.
If they're still together, they're probably...
Because she sounds like a real OC Spitfire.
Yeah.
And I think we need her in the mix.
I can't wait to see what she's going to bring to the table.
She said that I think when all this like Sherry Papini stuff came out, I think that Jesse did a post on social media that said that his girlfriend that is referenced on the show also survived a kidnapping.
Wow.
Like a real kidnapping, not a Papini kidnapping.
Oh, so she
really like survived it. Can we pull that up? It's the Google Jesse the Valley girlfriend kidnapping.
We don't even know her name.
Not important. Jesse Lally's girlfriend. Lacey.
Whoa.
Says being kidnapped helped her be victorious in life. That's great.
This is the news we needed after the Diddy verdict. That someone was victorious after a kidnapping. That's the female empowerment that we needed after this dark day in the news.
So with that, I say get Lacey Nicole on season 3 of The Valley.
Yes, she's coming.
That's what actually this series needs, is a victorious kidnapping victim.
Yes. Bring her on.
It's missing.
It was a horrific crime, Lacey says. We were taken by a gang of men, and the charges included, oh my God, giving Diddy human trafficking, kidnapping with the intent of sodomy and rape, assault with a deadly weapon, burglary, carjacking, theft. There were 22 charges. When you're in your early 20s, you don't necessarily have literature on how to handle trauma. I just swallowed it and became very unwell. Okay.
I need a lot more info.
Yeah. She's developed 7 autoimmune diseases from it.
Whoa.
And there's shade in the quotes. It says, and was on a plethora of medications to help her exist.
Whoa. She has demons.
Yeah. She belongs on the show.
Yeah, we need her. Yeah. We need to be balancing the light with the darkness. Thank you so much for joining me, for going on this journey. Do you have any outstanding thoughts, feelings,
balance?
notes? Yeah.
I just wrote getting food was scary.
Like, oh my God, yes, Janet and Jason.
Where do you want to get food?
This is a crucial, thank you for bringing this up. Because
sorry to...
No. We needed to touch on this because Janet was so... Zack called her to inform her that it was best if she did not attend like the surprise element of like welcoming Kristen and Luke back from the fishing excursion.
Yes.
But that if she wanted to, she could come for hors d'oeuvres. And she said, no, I'm not going to come for any of it. And we'll just like, I'll see you guys tomorrow. We'll just all hang out tomorrow.
And turns to her husband, where do you want to go to dinner? I'm hungry. And this is kind of just about their engagement now. That's when I started to really see the cracks in their marriage for maybe the first time this season.
Mm-hmm.
And I started to see the extent of like the passive aggressive darkness that's been hinted at as to why she's so like such a villain. And I was kind of like, she's kind of, middling for me.
Yeah.
And then I saw it with how she kind of sprung into action and took it so personally and was like, and we're not going tomorrow.
Yeah.
But
going to
fine.
Brittany.
It's fine.
Going, yeah, so I'll just see you back in LA.
Yeah, that was really...
To the person you're rooming with.
Yeah.
Who you have another day on this trip with.
But it's all about their engagement now. It's all about... So that was really, really weird.
That's why we all came out here, I guess.
Yeah. Scary.
Very. And then to be hungry on top of that. And then to be in Hawaii at prime dinner time with no reservation.
I thought of the no reservation too. I'm like, you're dropping a where do you want to have dinner when you're already hungry?
You're fucked.
Like this man is so fucked.
He's fucked.
And he knows it. And so he's crashing out.
This is like crisis.
It's a crisis.
Because you also like, you can't even be like, oh, we'll just get room service because she's gotten dressed. So you need to go somewhere.
And putting it on him? Where are we eating?
Need to go down.
I'm starving.
When she goes, I just want to go get food. I was like, I've been there.
Same.
And the relationship did not last.
No, it's not going to stand this test of time. And that was confirmed during that moment.
No.
That poor guy. What's his name?
Exactly.
I have no idea.
Jason. It took me a while, but his name is in fact Jason.
Okay, his name is Jason. Good to know.
Thank you for not letting us forget that moment because that was a crucial. Yeah, it was crucial. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. This was an absolute blast.
You're welcome back literally anytime.
Oh my God, we got to have you on Planet Heather as well.
I would love nothing more. Tell everyone where they can find you.
You can find me on patreon.com/Planet Heather, all one word. And that's really the only one I want you to worry about. There's underscores in my Instagram that I'm not clear on to this day.
It's hard.
So just go to the Patreon. There is one free episode up, but I'll let a couple more out of the paywall when this drops. But the one free episode will, and I can share this since it's the end of the episode. It is about how my asshole imploded like the Titan submersible due to a medical emergency. And it's called Bedpan Bath and Beyond. And for some reason, it's the only one I have up for free. And I'm just going to leave it like that.
That's really good marketing.
But it's a lot of people's favorite episodes. So when I saw it was the only one not paywalled, I was like, oh my God. Well, I don't know how to undo it. So let's just keep it up.
You're a savvy businesswoman at heart.
Yeah. Literally find out about the worst day of my life.
Incredible. Mm-hmm. Well, I will ask you offline because we don't want to give up the goods.
No spoilers.
So thank you again.
Thank you. Thank you
all.
And
until next time, we are going to shout out our cult members, our Patreon cult members. And if you would care to help me out with that, I would love to have you.
Can we alternate?
Yeah, let's alternate.
Okay, you start.
Nadav Haviv.
Oh, of course, I got the one I can't pronounce.
Kara.
Mm-hmm. Kara England.
Great instinct. Sexy Unique Gandalf.
Rose Garden.
Ash Kelly.
One of the duels.
Teddy the Schnauzer and Tony and Mango's cult.
Alex Delisle.
Obviously.
Emily Vaughn.
Gina Sapienza.
Yes. Little Miss Bitch Cunt.
Sarah Elizabeth from Boston.
Lacey from London.
Brooke Johansson.
Lilia Farrell.
Brittany Rindemweiss.
Danielle from the Brim.
Malzatov Lols.
Mary.
Katie Sulin.
Diego and Darian, DC's Tom Ford couple.
Matthew Thomas.
Osley Robinson.
Kathy West.
Orlando.
Patron of the Farts.
Nick Sedaris.
Mr. Brandon.
Emily.
Kim Lucas.
Drone.
Drew from Toronto.
Katie the Sup Lawyer.
RJ.
Modern Counseling, McLean, Virginia.
And of course, Jeffrey Pradama. Guys, thank you so much for your support. Thank you for being here.
Thank you all.
Everyone check out Planet Heather. It truly is a lol a minute. And until next time, bye.
Bye.
Sexy Unique Podcast is created and hosted by me, Lara Marie Shanehalls, and co-hosted by the inimitable Carrie O'Donnell. This episode is produced by Sierra Pavia. The audio and video versions are edited by Morgan McDonald. Production and post-production services provided by Bad Ladder. Additional production assistance provided by Jen Shad.